Hello, this is Laura talking to you live today on Laura's Raw Beauty. And what I'm wanting to talk about today is living on a raw vegan, plant-based diet and thriving on a raw vegan, plant-based diet. And the differences in a lifestyle on raw vegan. And, what works for some people may not work for others, and why this isn't working for certain people. And I've heard lots of different stories, and I see lots of different things. And some things that I listen to, I can understand why some people would really get discouraged on a raw vegan diet. It's not really, for me, it's not real super hard. I never had any desire to go back. That was the thing with me. And but there can be times when it can be really hard, and there's times when I have felt less thriving than others. I have always felt much better. I can't compare it to a cooked food lifestyle, even on my very worst day. But at the same time, it's why are some people having such a hard time? And I can understand and feel sorry for people that would be struggling with this, because there's so many things out on the internet that would make you wonder. Now, you look at some of these people like John Kohler, who's been on this for years and years, and I mean, he's just done wonderfully on it. And I think he's been on it well over 20 years, maybe even 25 or so, and has survived well. And you see lots of other raw vegans that have lasted on it and things. And I'm sure that gives people an incentive, but then when you're not feeling up to par, and you're just not feeling like you're making it on this lifestyle, and you keep reaching for other things and failing and going, my God, I just don't feel good. Why is this happening? And then you end up looking at some YouTube, and it says, oh, raw veganism nearly killed me, and stuff like that can really be very discouraging and make you think, gee, maybe this isn't really the lifestyle. And I believe that this is the way we're supposed to eat. I believe anybody can live on this lifestyle. I think the reason why it is hard is because we're designed to eat a certain way and don't know the right foods to eat to make us thrive on this lifestyle. And you can watch other people and follow other people's YouTubes and get different ideas, but you also, in time, you have to incorporate, maybe it might be a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And sometimes you can't fall directly into a raw vegan lifestyle that quickly. Sometimes you really, truly need to go on high raw for a while. And I think that the important thing about this is that you have to make sure that you're getting enough of certain foods, and that you're not thinking that you could once in a while eat certain other foods. And one particular situation that I had seen was somebody who thought, well, it's okay. I really was hungry, so what's the big difference if I eat roasted nuts once in a while from the gas station because I'm in a hurry and I'm hungry? It's better than eating chips. Well, really, realistically, it's not, because it may be nuts and might be better than chips in some people's opinions, but when you're eating oils that have been cooked, that's not good for you. And not only that, but the salts and all of the stuff, that anything that's cooked in oils like that is also going to set off these cravings, and you're going to have a crash, and then you're going to start reaching for other things. And then you think you can hop back on raw and do it. It just doesn't work. That doesn't work. What you can do is you can eat a high raw diet, and if you have to feel like you have to have a cooked sweet potato or some rice or something, as long as you don't eat breads, pastas, cereals, of course, cheese, and anything of that nature, as long as you don't reach for those things, and obviously meats and stuff, that and you keep it vegan, you will still be able to survive on it. Your body is still not going to be taking in these things that are causing problems. You know, when you eat those foods, you're causing inflammation, and not only are you causing inflammation, but you're also changing around your gut bacteria, and you can't get used to a raw diet until you actually start eating more raw. So when I say that it's okay to eat an occasional rice or things like that, it's not something that I would want to do long term, but it is something that I think that for some people it may work. And that as long as they are eating a lot, having a lot of juices, and doing 80% at least of juicing and smoothies, and making sure they're eating a lot of kale, spinach, things that are green and leafy, and things of that nature, they should be okay, and then slowly eliminate those things as time goes on. And for some people might go cold turkey, and other people might not be able to. And what's going to make you thrive on this lifestyle if you feel like you have done all these things and you have been eating all raw? Well, all raw isn't always the answer totally. I mean, because it is what you want to initially do, but the reason why you may not be thriving is because you might be missing certain things. There are certain things that your body needs, and just eating bananas and dates and going for gourmet raw vegan food all the time, which is okay once in a while. As a matter of fact, I went to my first raw vegan restaurant in Asheville, Western North Carolina, where I live here, and have never been out. I've only had salads at like a juice bar in the last 4 years. I have not been out anywhere to eat because I haven't really known where to eat. And with all these things going on lately now with the virus and everything else, I haven't really wanted to. But the thing is that some people, if they need to go out and they need to sometimes eat out, you need to find ways. You need to find ways to make sure that you get the right things in your body all the time. And then if you do go out, once in a while, it's not going to make that big of a difference. But if you're living on bananas and dates, and you're not in just fruit, and you know, sometimes people think that it's healthy because it tastes good, just making all these like smoothies that are just filled with all kinds of sugary type things, and that's not going to make you thrive. What's going to make you thrive are the things like the sea moss, the kale, the spinach. I always put, I sprout my own broccoli, and I put in the freezer, and I put that in there. And those are the things that really help me to stay that flight experience, that real good up experience that I feel when I feel like my energy is just totally endless. Another thing I know is that what some people need may not be the same as others. I know that when I am getting away from my sprouting, and there was a little period of time where the kale wasn't coming up as much in my garden, I hadn't bought any, and I hadn't eaten as much kale. I was eating a lot of spinach, and I was buying a little bit more romaine, but I really need kale. There's something in kale that really, really makes me thrive. And I have to have, I grow wheatgrass. I have to, wheatgrass and things like sprouts, different kinds of sprouts, especially sunflower sprouts. I notice those really give me some kind of energy. I like beet leaves. There's something really hearty in those, something in that just gives me the energy. So there's minerals in these things that really make me thrive. And I have noticed different things from time to time. And when I say this, it's like, okay, I might be at a level 8 in energy when I'm not doing these things. Nothing like a cooked food lifestyle, but not that real high energy, like a 10 to a 10, almost euphoric sometimes when I am eating a lot of kale and a lot of leafy green things and sprouting. So you have to figure out what things your body needs, and your body in time on this lifestyle gets better and better and will tell you things. And if people feel discouraged sometimes by hearing about different failures in raw veganism, it could be kind of scary for people that are trying to do this, and then they hear these stories and, oh, I heard that my daughter's a dietitian and she said that you're going to really be lacking. Don't worry about all of these things, because these are things that can be, I would always suggest making sure that you get enough B12 and D. That is something that has been really suggested. And another thing is that some people don't get enough of the omegas, and sometimes I have to throw flaxseed into my coffee grinder, and sometimes I don't even make anything out of it. I just take a spoonful of it and drink it down with water, and I put my chia seeds in water and I drink those down, and and I just eat the hemp seed. Sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I just drink it down with water, because if I'm not getting enough of that in my diet, that's my supplement. And that's just like everybody with the Brazil nuts, and that has selenium in it, and I take one of those a day. That is my vitamin. I don't need to take the vitamin of it. I eat plenty of pumpkin seeds. I add those in for my zinc and things. Add those in my salads all the time. And I do use a lot of nutritional yeast, and Dulce has some vitamin B12. So, but I keep a supplement in case I'm in a hurry and I'm not getting that. It's a supplement. A supplement for some people might be every day if they're not getting those things, and it could be just occasional for people who would be eating those other things, but they feel like they may not be getting it at certain times, like what I do. And if I go out in the sun, which I do sit outside 15 minutes in the summer months and spring and stuff, and if I do, I don't use my vitamin D. But if I'm not out, and especially in the winter when I'm not in the sun and not getting any, I use my vitamin D. And I have this vitamin D that I use in a squirt. And it really matters what your body tells you. That's the most important thing, is to listen to your body and make sure that you are getting enough of the certain things, and that if you do feel that you need to eat some cooked food, it's not the end of the world to eat cooked food. But if you go out and you have a pizza occasionally and you think that's going to be okay, of course you're not going to succeed on this lifestyle if you're doing that. So that is something that just is not going to work. It's just like an alcoholic thinking that they can sneak an occasional drink, and it just doesn't work that way. So you have to figure those things out. And and I go into these co-ops and places and shop, and I talk to a lot of people because I cut hair, so I have a lot of different people that I speak to. And I had a lady tell me, she said, "Oh, I was a vegetarian once, but it failed for me because my health was failing. I just didn't feel good on it." And I don't really know what people's circumstances are. I just know that if they were eating a lot of meat and then they stopped, and then there's something that they're not getting, and it could be B12, or it could be there, but there are ways to surpass these things and get through it without having to eat meat and chance yourself of cancer risks and things of that nature. So that to me is the whole idea of this lifestyle, is to eliminate your risks of cancer. And why wouldn't you want to eat eggs when there's so much protein? Because you don't want that cholesterol, you don't want the animal product. You know, why would you not eat fish when it has the omegas? Well, fish eat other dead fish, the mercury, the garbage that these things build up in the body. And this is why I became a raw vegan in the first place, is because I don't want to get my sources that way. And so you have to find the ways to get these sources. And the omegas are important. That's why it's important to always keep your flax seeds, keep your chia seeds. Make sure you have a little small $15 coffee grinder and grind up some flax once in a while. And you can throw it in your salad, or you can just take it like I do in a simple spoonful and drink down some water. But these things are really important to continue doing to thrive. And it's important that if you feel like your energy comes from kale, or whether it comes from spinach or whatever things that it is, especially sprouting, I feel is something that's really important. And I've talked a lot about sea moss, and sometimes there's things in that might be something that your body could be missing, that you might have been getting somewhere else before you were on this lifestyle, and now you need. But if you're not doing these certain things, sometimes you can have deficiencies if you don't figure out how to get and stay on this lifestyle and thrive on this lifestyle. As time goes on, your body will tell you more and more. And I think that that's really important, that you listen to your body. And another big thing that I feel that a lot of people do, and I was somebody who drank coffee at one time, and coffee is something that I don't believe in anymore. I think that coffee, regular standard coffee, is full of pesticides and caffeine. And even if you drink decaffeinated, it still has caffeine. And when your adrenals burn out, you can really be having trouble. And a lot of people are struggling with adrenal fatigue, and some people are suffering from it even that don't drink coffee. I have something, there's a company here in Western North Carolina where I live that deals with herbs, and it's called Gaia Herbs, and I get something for adrenal fatigue. I've not taken it a lot lately. When I first got on raw, that stuff really helped me because my adrenals were absolutely spent. I mean spent. I was on coffee, zinging all the time, and I just kept going and going and pushing and borrowing. Using borrowed energy only ends up in burnout and collapse, and that's what collapses your adrenals. So it's really important, I think, to start depending more on the green sources for your energy, and real true energy rather than caffeine. And another thing is to make sure that you're getting plenty of rest and that you're not burning the candle on all ends, because the thing is, if you're doing that stuff, you are going to burn out. And when you burn out, that's not going to help you all the way around. And then you can't think, and your mind is fuzzy. And when your mind is fuzzy, you're not able to even think about what to eat. And you get hungry and you grab for the wrong foods. That's really where some of the trouble starts. So I'm trying to help people to not make these mistakes, and I hope that I can inspire people to do these things and to think about these things and to really think about eliminating caffeine in coffee. I do drink a little bit of matcha once in a while, maybe 3 times a week or so in the morning, once in the morning, not where I'm just drinking all this caffeine. I don't want to depend on caffeine because it does have a little caffeine, but it really doesn't have a lot. It's not like coffee. Coffee is to me, coffee is not good. It's just not going to help you thrive at all. So those are some of my suggestions, and trying to let your body figure out what it needs, and just don't eat the breads, processed cereals, cheese, all that stuff that I talked about, all these bad things, and just try to eat more and more raw foods and keep on plugging at it little by little. Your body will tell you what and what not to do, and it will tell you what it thrives on. And as time has went on for me in this lifestyle, I have felt better and better, and I have gotten to where I realize things that, one thing I realize, and just because something's raw don't always mean that it's so good for you, or it may not be great for someone else and not good for you. But eating cacao is something that I have to really limit. And if I want a little bit of chocolate, I eat a little more carob, and I add maybe a few little cacao nibs, or very little. Cacao tends to make me kind of crash. If I eat too much of it, I can handle a little of it. It's just like matcha or something. I don't go overboard with these certain things, but now some people really can eat lots of cacao, I guess, and eat chocolate every day. I couldn't, because it's not as good for me as it might be for somebody else. So you have to figure those things out, and you have to realize that raw is one thing, but your body is different than somebody else's. So I think that's really important. And of course, getting enough sleep and making sure that you're doing things to where you're getting at least enough exercise, and that you're not overdoing it. And don't be so hard on yourself either. That's a really important thing, because when you are doing these things and you're stressing about it, if you're stressing about this lifestyle and you're worrying about it, you're already doing something wrong, because your body's doing all these horrible things, and that's not good either. So you really have to take it easy. Take it one day at a time. Make sure that you do this each day to the best that you can. Don't beat yourself up over it. Don't worry about what other people say and think. Don't worry about what somebody that's been on this for a couple years, 3 years, 4 years, 20 years, 25 years is doing, because they're in a totally different place than what you might be. And I'm probably in a totally different place. And I'm sure that I'm in a totally different place than somebody who's been doing this for 15 years. So you really have to listen to yourself, be easy on yourself. And those are just all my suggestions. Get enough rest. Try to cut out the coffee. Try to make sure that you're getting these things that I talked about. Think about sprouting. Think about adding these greens. Think about having more smoothies, and consider more dulse, and putting nutritional yeast for vitamin B12, maybe getting a vitamin B12 supplement, making sure that you get that. That's something that I hear a lot about, so that's something important. And that's basically it. I hope I've covered everything, and I'm just going to read this. And this is a prayer of faith. And it is from Mark, and it's chapter 11, verse 24. And it says, "Therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them." Thank you so much. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Have a great day.